Guys, we are almost here. About to pull up to Deaver right now. Gotta say, it looks pretty cool. Looks like a barn. Look at that. Let's find somewhere to park. Let's go check it out. Dude, I think why like the other thousands of people out there that don't YouTube is because I don't want to walk around with a camera. And I don't blame you guys. It's not fun. You know? I do a lot of cool stuff. And at least I think I do. And I don't have my camera for a lot of it. Because you look like a retard. Sometimes. All right, here. I'm gonna turn this thing back on after I introduce myself, and we'll go from there. These are awesome. Yeah, so these are 3-inch lift.
Absolutely. This is eliminate a 3-inch factory block or aftermarket block, actually.
Yeah, so that's what I have.
Take some of the bite out of the back end of the truck as it drives down the road and accentuates a little more wheel travel. Gets rid of wheel hop, axle wrap.
So what would I expect for towing?
You know, it's still what we call a light duty 3/4 ton rate. So for moderate tongue weights, it's absolutely fine. Anything that's excessive of maybe 800 pounds or more, you'll probably want to supplement with a bag. Okay.
Fair enough. So typically, I think if I'm doing the math right, I think it's what? So if you're saying 800 pounds, and if you typically want to have what, 10% tongue weight, so an 8,000 pound trailer, if you have it loaded correctly?
Pretty much, yeah. Tongue weight's generally about 10% of the trailer weight itself. So
okay.
It's pretty easy to factor in. And I always tell people, hey, you know what? Don't wait till the day you're going on your trip. Hook it up, see how it reacts, see how safe you feel driving around. If you don't feel like that this thing is doing the job, then take the next step. Supplement it, do something. The weight distribution hitches on the bumper pulls are, you know.
Yeah. See, that's going to help too.
Fifth wheels, I just tell them, no way. I mean, pin weight on fifth wheels, you either got to have a stock factory spring or a built-up spring or a nice heavy-duty airbags.
Yeah.
There for a supplemental assist.
Yeah, it's funny because I have a B&W gooseneck hitch in there. I've used it one time because I found a trailer at my old shop, and I just wanted to tow it. Yeah. And that was it, but I don't tow anything like that. So, yeah, we're going to definitely put this to the test, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
Leave it to Deaver.
Yep. So, there was about 7 of these. All down the line. They're all just little forkers, and they had the big billow bags that you'd pump with your foot. Just blow oxygen in there and heat everything up. You got the trip hammers.
Nice. So what would you do with these?
It's basically pound hot steel. You get stuff out of the forge, and then you have a foot here that engages the clutch that it has the belt drive, and it was just so it's just.
When did these go into commission?
We used it, God, 10, 12 years ago, but the electric motor burned up on us. So when that was done, we had to take turns swinging the sledgehammer. You appreciate it.
Yeah.
We got original anvils.
Okay.
All overhead belt. I can turn this one on for you.
Oh, that's rad. That's awesome. That's old school. What are these made out of? It's almost like the belts. They almost look like leather.
Yeah. With alligator clamps to clamp together for incredible length, and then you just spray belt dressing on there that gets them a little bit of a tacky feel so they don't burn and spin.
Huh. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a guy out of Chicago that still sells all of the alligator clamps and the belts and stuff like that, so we ordered a bunch of it the other day just to have on hand, because I think we finally ran out of what we did have. You see, you run them, and then finally when they go. They're toast.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean,
all right.
Look, they were obviously running belt drives all over the place here.
Yeah, it seems like all over the ceiling over here.
They're rebuilding springs right now. Basically doing a build up on an F-250 so it can handle the weight of a service bed or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they have F-250 out there. Yeah, those, what do they come with stock? Like 3 springs?
Yeah, just 2 over 1. Yeah, they went to thicker material, so they just have 2 leaf springs over and then the bottom thicker overload.
Yeah, that always tripped me out. Like, I would look at my truck. What's the DURAMAX have? Like 4+1?
Yeah, I mean, Ford started doing that in 2012. In 2008, they were still running 3 or 4 leaves over an overload. And it all depends on the thickness of the material too.
Yeah.
You have 4 leaves, you're not using the same thickness as the 2 leaves are.
Exactly.
So essentially, it's close to the same load rating. I think it's just cheaper for Ford to produce.
Exactly, less metal.
The thicker steel is more popular to make.
Yeah.
With higher volume, so it's cheaper. It's less material.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't do so much for ride quality. But
Yeah, exactly. I've been in plenty of Fords, and the back of them, at least coming up to 2017, the back of them were very smooth.
Take a shot of that thing, I guess, on that picture of my old facade. Dodge and Ford plate for F-150s. It's got the dual center pins already drilled in the holes.
Okay, I see that.
And then we have our 3-inch wide material, and it starts thinnest at the top, and as it goes down, it gets into just over 1/2 inch thick, or .558 material. We get into our 2.5 for Chevys, Fords, and then our 2 1/4 or our 60mm metric steel in here. And then this is high arch, thin material repair plate that we keep on the shelf.
Yeah, that's pretty aggressive.
Broken race springs and some of our aftermarket stuff. This is all .214, very thin material. You won't find anywhere else. And it's tempered at a much higher arch, so we can bring it down if we need to. But most of the arches of our springs need something that matches that. And you can see this a much flatter arch on standard repair plate.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. That way, if you come into the shop and you need a modification, you got something broken, or you want to build up, we've got the matching material. We take yours apart, we'll micrometer and check the material thicknesses, and we'll match it with that. We cut these down, fit them into the pack, set the arch, change the clips, drill them, put pads on the ends of the leaves.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
All American made steel too.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've even seen that on your guys' website. So I'm glad, because I just, there's so many misconceptions, and I'm like, I have so many guys that spend all this money on the front end of their truck. I mean, whether even like my truck, coilovers, or like I want this and that, and I want king shocks, and I'm like, you know, and a lot of the guys aren't towing heavy. They just bought a crew cab, standard bed, 4-wheel drive.
The diesel.
Exactly, and they lift it, and you know, it's a hobby. And you know, why just spend all that money on the front end, and it's like you ignore the back end where it's, you know, you feel it going over every speed bump.
Absolutely. We always think.
Yeah.
Finish it.
Exactly.
Make the rear complement the front.
Exactly. Finish it, guys.
You know, some of these guys, they don't really go and take their truck off-road or use the performance end of it, but they're not happy with the ride.
Yeah.
So the mini pack's something that, for not a lot of money, they can really just improve the rear of their truck.
You know, and it's a big difference too, because one of the videos that I just posted up, I only have a couple on the page right now, but we did a CST 3 to 6 inch lift, and on the back of it, he's like, hey, I instead of putting the 1-inch block it comes with, he's like, let's put a mini Deaver pack. I talked to him about it, so we got the pack for him, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think with the spacers built into it, it's up to 2 inches of lift, but without all of it's about 5/8.
Yeah, it just depends.
An inch.
It fits actually on the 1/2 ton and the 3/4 ton truck. So we get different ride heights out of each truck.
Yeah.
And so for the 1/2 ton trucks, they typically don't want to use the spacers because it's coming up a little taller.
Yeah.
But we had to use the spacers to get the 2 inches out of the 3/4 tons. But yeah, for the people that want nothing, like I even took and modified a set the other day and bumped it down because the guy didn't want any lift. He just wanted to improve the ride. So I ditched the spacers, bumped the arch down 1.5 inches.
You know what's awesome though is like you see these leaves, and like right now, like how you see how there's like that gap in it, and it just takes that all away when you put the mini pack on there, and it just makes it like a lot more linear.
Absolutely.
And
see what the main cause for the bad ride on the back of these trucks, but is designed this way to carry weight, is that bottom second stage overload is pretty much constantly engaged with the primary springs. There's not much room between there, and that's because it's designed to capture the load and prevent too much squat when it's hauling weight.
Yeah.
What I've done for a lot of people that bought these trucks that wanted to improve the ride, what we'll do is we'll take and we'll omit the number 3 leaf, and then we invert that bottom overload, so it's got a little bit of a negative arch, and you can get about a couple fingers in between that and the primary pack. You've got to put a 1-inch spacer in there to maintain the height.
Yeah.
But it takes the bite out because it gives that primary set of springs up there some movement before it's actually completely engaged. When it's completely engaged right now, there's nowhere for it to go.
Yeah, it just goes and slams.
Hence the shitty ass ride. So.
Ah, see, that makes sense.
Yeah,
so we're getting rid of this. So it would be technically the 4th spring.
No, the 3rd one down. The top one's number 1, then there's number 2, and then there's number 3 right there.
So you're getting rid of number 3.
And then we flip or invert the bottom overload to where it's got a little bit of negative arch. And we've been doing that with these trucks, the 2500s, since the early 2000s, because when the DURAMAX first came out, everybody loved the idea of a diesel motor and the gas mileage and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they weren't always towing, and they were not happy with the rear ride. And so that was just something we were able to do for the family people, the older, you know, couples and stuff like that. They weren't going to. They're not lifting their trucks. They just can't stand the ride.
Exactly. Okay. I'm excited. I can't wait to put these on.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
So, just left Deaver, and just as I expected, Scott, great guy and very knowledgeable.